African women's cricket player. Mignon, how are you today?
Very good, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Mignon, let's start off with how did you get involved in cricket and why cricket?
It actually happened by accident. I started at the young age of 4 years old. My brother was actually playing in a mini cricket game, and my dad was a coach for his team. And one day, one of the boys didn't make it to the game in time, and they asked me to fill the spot. And I think at the end of the day, I was the best batswoman for the day, and that's kind of where my love started for the game.
You know, you've had quite an illustrious career. Who's been your support base?
I'm very fortunate. I've got a very supportive husband, Tony van der Merwe, and then my parents, my mom and dad has always been there, Jock and Teresa, and then I've got a brother, older brother and sister, and both of them throughout my career. I've been very fortunate with family and friends that's always been with me by my side. As we all know, sport can sometimes take a stall, and it's nice to have somebody there that's just backing you all the way.
Cricket has traditionally been a man's game, and as successful as you've been, who has been your role models? Have you had any female cricket players that have been your role models?
I think growing up, unfortunately, with the limited exposure we got, we all grew up with men's role models, and that said, it was always Hansie. Grenier was one of my biggest role models. He always took the time, when I stayed very close to Supersport Park, and he always took the time to actually come and just spend some time with me as a young girl. And growing up, then I started noticing Karen Smithies. She was the captain of the England women's team, and they came on and toured against the South African women's cricket team, and I met her, and that was kind of one of the role models. And later on, as I got older, there was quite a few. Belinda Clark was a familiar name, Charlotte Edwards, and recently there's actually quite a few role models in our own team. There's a few, and then definitely globally, women's cricket has taken the world by storm, and I do think hopefully in the near future a lot more role models would be portrayed to young girls.
Momentum Proteas have come back from a very successful tour in Ireland. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about your experiences in Ireland. How was it to be playing overseas and to be representing South Africa once again on the international stage?
It was an awesome tour. None of us have ever been to Ireland, and it's really a beautiful country. So off the field we had a lot of fun, but even on the field I think we really gelled well as a team. A few of our players played in the Kia Super League. Some of the seniors weren't there on this tour, so we took quite a young, a little bit more inexperienced side to get them used to the type of conditions that we encounter over there, and also to give them some playing time. So it was exciting to see that the younger girls really stepped up. I think there was wonderful performances by a player named Laura Wolfhard. She scored a maiden 100, and she's only in grade 11. And then we've also had Chloe Tryon. That's one of our key players that stood up. Shanae Lees again, she was player of the series. So it was just awesome to see some of the young girls really taking responsibility and stepping up to the plate.
You stepped down as captain just before the Ireland series. What motivated your decision to do that?
In the recent times, I've really seen that it's the captaincy has taken a little bit of toll on my batting, and my batting average has gone almost halved over the time I've been captain. And at the moment in the phase we're at, and we're heading towards the World Cup next year, I sat with the coaching staff and management, and we just felt that at the moment they need me more as a batter, and it's so important that I can contribute. So maybe if I were relieved of my captaincy duties, I could focus a little bit more energy on the batting, and it actually paid off. I scored my personal best, career best of 116 in Ireland, so I think that just showed that it was the right decision. And also I got married in December, so at the moment I've got some other priorities as well. So I just have to sometimes also be a wife and spend some time at home. So I think the timing was right, and I'm really glad that I can still at least be part of the team and still contribute and share some of my experience.
Definitely. Now let's move on to, you just mentioned the World Cup next year. What else can South Africans look forward to in terms of the Momentum Proteas?
We've got a very exciting schedule actually. In October, New Zealand is coming over for 7 ODI tour. So we will be playing 3 games in Kimberley and then 4 in Cape Town. And then we're heading off to Australia in November. Then during December, a few of the girls might head to the Big Bash. But then early in January, we've got a tour to Bangladesh. and then depending on how well we play against New Zealand and Australia, we might have to go for qualifiers in February in Sri Lanka, and then we've got India and Zimbabwe over here in I think April, and then Ireland's coming over in May. All that happening just before we head to the World Cup. So I think we're definitely going to be very well prepared. So looking forward to a very exciting calendar full of cricket.
Well, just on a side note, just to our viewers, if you can, please go down and support our Momentum Proteas. I'm sure they would appreciate it very much if we can get full stadiums and to support the girls. Mignon, let's talk a little bit about your aspirations. Where do you want to go with the rest of your career?
That's very exciting. I think women's cricket is really an exciting place where it's globally just changing. I would definitely still want to become one of the top 3 batters in the world as an individual. But I think most importantly, I want to be one of the first girls ever to bring back a World Cup trophy. So I want to be part of a team that brings a World Cup trophy home. That would be really something special. I think there's quite a few exciting things. Hopefully we'll in the near future there'll be something like a women's IPL or the WICL, which will be like a women's international cricket league, and to be part of that and just being pioneers when it comes to the women's game and changing the way and leaving a legacy for future generations.
As we end off, as former captain and a senior member of the Momentum Proteas, you are a role model and an inspiration yourself. If you had a special message to say to the next generation of female cricketers, what would you say to them?
I would just like to say, if your dream's not big enough, if your dream does not scare you, they're probably not big enough, and never let anyone stand in your way. I think a lot of times we think we competing in a male-dominant sport, but you can be a girly girl and still be competitive, and they just always remember your talent is God's gift to you, and what you do with it is your gift back.
Gamer Magazine would like to take this opportunity to thank Mignon du Preez for spending some time with us at CSA's Centre of Excellence in Pretoria. It's been an absolute privilege chatting to you today, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to be here.